What's going, Don Yinz? Casey Kiefer here with a brand new episode of our Humanimal podcast, and we are doing this one from the truck. I got alongside me, AB.
We are truck casting today.
That's right, truck casting. There you go. Ooh, write that down.
Yeah.
We are southbound. We're headed down to Winchester. We're going down to Winchester Ammunition and Firearms. We get to go down there for the next couple of days to the annual Winchester Summit. We're going to be doing a bunch of filming, and then at the same time, we're going to get to learn about a bunch of new products Winchester's got coming to market in the upcoming SHOT Show, if there is a SHOT Show coming here in January. It doesn't really seem like it. NRA's teetering on the fringe, so it looks like that's canceled as of right now, really.
Yep.
So brand new revelation there, but yeah, we're going to do things a little bit differently today because we're podcasting here from the truck, so I think we're going to go ahead and dive into some Q&A, I think is what we got lined up. Is that right?
Yeah, we put out on social media, on Instagram, just, hey, AB and Casey are doing a Q&A podcast. Ask us anything, and we had lots of responses.
We got some good ones in there?
Yeah, there's some good ones. There are some good ones.
I like when there's good ones.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
It'll be good. So basically, how I'm gonna shake this out is, I'm just gonna go through here. I've got them in like 3 different pages. So I've already kind of picked out the good ones that I really want to hit on, because this could go on forever. Just because we might get in some rabbit holes here, but
oh boy,
yeah. But it should be good. These are a wide variety of questions, out of the box kind of stuff, and some tactic driven stuff. So I say we get into it and roll tide.
Yeah, why not? Let's shoot the shit. Let's answer a bunch of questions, and hopefully I don't sound too much like an idiot. So
No. First one, right out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is thinking about buying a Garmin sight for his bow. Is it worth it?
Okay, yes, first and foremost. I will say this up front, though. Check your local and state game laws.
Yes.
To see if you can have a sight that has electronics in it. Aside from that, if you are in a state where it is legal to have a bow sight with electronics in it, absolutely 100% worth it, in my opinion. I've been using Garmin for a couple of years now, and, it eliminates a lot of the process. It eliminates a lot of the movement and the back and forth and the thinking, and it truly does simplify things when you're in that moment of truth. I mean, everybody knows what it's like. As bow hunters, we have so many things going through our mind when we know shit's about to go down,
right? That
the more you can eliminate, the more you can stay focused, the more you can get on your form. And I got one story in particular I'll point to, but what do you think? I mean, you saying yay, nay?
No, 100%. It is, it takes all the guesswork out of it. And I kind of want to hit on a couple things that people always ask me about it. Like, there's some things that questions I feel like people ask that to get them over the edge, like, I'm worried about this, like in trees, if you're trying to range, does it range? Yep. Yes, it ranges true every time. In my experience, it ranges true. The other one is rain. If you're sitting in the rain, does it fog up? You and I had a sit in Iowa in 2019. Remember that day it was raining cats and dogs?
Oh, yeah.
And we went in with, like, frog tog suits on.
In the tightest Millennium Ladder in a cedar tree ever.
Yep.
Thanks, Chad.
Yeah. And we went in there, and it was pouring rain, knowing it was going to stop. And, sometimes like that, it kind of gets warm and it fogs and everything. Nothing ever fogged. It didn't, the site was flawless. It worked. It got really wet and never got ruined, nothing like that. So those are the 2 questions I get asked a lot. And yes, this has not let me down one time in any scenario. So yes, I am on board. You should get one.
There you go. I got a couple more to add to that because I just got this question the other day. What is the difference between the A1? So it comes in the zero bow sight.
Yep.
Right? Zero bow sight A1 and A1I. I get that question all the time. There are a few differences. I believe one of them on the A1, you cannot change your pin colors.
Yep.
Which you can do on the A1I.
Yep.
So you can alternate between green, red on the A1I. And then also on the A1, which is the lower model of the 2, you cannot set multiple arrow profiles. I believe
Exactly.
you're only one arrow profile.
In the A1i, I think you get 5 different arrow profiles if you want.
Yep, which is a huge benefit, let me tell you.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to be able to put the sight on, sight it in, with a certain arrow setup that maybe you're going to, go out west on an elk hunt early season, and then go ahead and save that arrow profile and sight in your whitetail setup immediately after that with a completely different arrow. You can just, all you got to do is swap between profiles, and you got basically a brand new snipe with,
For sure.
without having to do all the work real time. So,
but listen to Casey though too. He did say, look at your state game laws, because in Colorado you cannot use a Garmin sight.
that's correct.
So make sure you look at those regs first. And Keegan and Lee, they do a lot of elk hunting. They have, they run a site for elk hunting, and then they run Garmin for. I mean, I wish you could use it in Colorado, because it'd be unbelievable
awesome.
out there.
Yep. Well, and I said that I would touch on a story that I always come back to what turned me on to the Zero in the first place.
Yep.
And I look back to Iowa. I don't know how many years ago that was. 5-6 years ago.
For
Curly.
Oh, yes.
When I shot at Curly.
It would have been 2017, I believe.
I had a mover bow sight, and I'd shot it for 2-3 years, super comfortable with it. But it was one of those wham-bam scenarios. Deer came in, then the doe bedded down. I mean, it was a long, drawn-out, like, man, if this is going to happen, this will be unreal. And anyway, long story short is I ended up getting a shot. I ranged him. It was the furthest shot I've ever taken at a whitetail. I practiced at that distance. I feel like I was comfortable and proficient shooting that far. I ranged him, I believe I ranged him at like 62 or 63.
Yep, it was 62, I think.
And then by the time I put the rangefinder down, reached down, boom, moved the sight with my floater pin, got it to where it needed it to be, brought my sight back up, drew the bow, buried the pin, let it fly. Well, when I looked down to do that, all that work, I had missed the 2 extra steps that he had taken.
Yep.
And it ends up, when we ranged it at the end, it was 66 where I actually shot at him. And I was shooting a heavy arrow, so it made a difference out that far, right? So I ended up shaving his belly hair. He lived. We got truck camera pictures of him. But that was one of those, like, damn, missed opportunities. So really, when I start looking at the Zero, that's the hunt that, like, okay, how can I simplify this?
For sure.
And now I shoot the Zero.
Yep.
So, cool.
Yeah, so, on our end, get it. You will not regret it at all. I know it's one of those things that, like, I'll throw my wallet at it. Get
it. It's the right piece of gear.
Don't
cheap out on gear.
Yep. Especially your sight. It's, I don't want to keep going down this rabbit hole, but you buy a $1,000 bow and then you're going to put $100 sight on it,
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Now, this question, I really like it. It's a great question because we like to name our deer and, get intimate with them and all that kind of stuff. So this question comes through and it says, if each of you were bucks, so if you and I were bucks, what would you name each other?
Ooh.
And what would your racks look like?
Ooh.
I like these.
Oh, that's a really good one. You're gonna have to give me a second. I gotta ponder this. I don't know if I could come up with a straight answer.
I don't know either.
I would probably. Boy, that's a tough one. I would probably name you Feet.
Feet?
I would probably name you.
Okay, that's a good one.
Just Feet.
Okay.
Like, here he comes. Here comes Feet. Deer's everywhere. Just Feet. You smell him before he gets there. And your rack? I mean, you'd be a solid, like.
I'm a thin wispy, I feel like. I'm a wispy one.
You'd be like a good solid. You'd be like a 150-inch slick 10.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
you'd be like
generous.
a 150-inch slick 10.
I was thinking like a.
But your body, you'd weigh like, you'd be like a $120.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like a skinny little pencil neck. Like that deer that's on every single trail camera, usually the one we call the guy. I'd be like, all right, here he comes. Here comes Feet. There he is.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, man. So first I'm going to describe your rack. I think you're going to be like a. You're gonna be Blackbeard, okay? Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember the deer we had, Blackbeard? He was like 100 and mid 140s to low 150s, big, heavy 8-pointer.
Yeah.
Like you're just, you're gonna run the roost.
Are the ends of my beams dead and
Yes.
black?
Yes.
Oh yeah. That's there you go.
Oh man, the name I would give you though, I wouldn't give you the name Blackbeard. That was just the name we named that deer. What was the name I'd give you?
So a heavy 8, and I got just blunted.
Like
tips
broomed
main
off
beam.
tips.
Yeah, broomed off
tips.
black with velvet, dead velvet,
Man.
and damaged goods.
Oh gosh, this is tough. I do I have to come back to this one? I don't know.
Just skin face. You never know.
Daywalker.
Daywalker. The Daywalker.
I know it. I'm going to come back to that. I'm
Daywalker.
going to hit that up here in a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to come back to that one. I'll give you a name. All right. So next one. You guys have been a duo in the stand for years. How has your dynamic changed?
I don't know that it's changed. I mean, we have a hell of a lot of fun.
Too much fun.
I think that's what people need to understand is like we set out to be as diehard as we can be from a let's do shit right perspective.
Yep.
When we go on the hunt, like we're locked in and we're ready. But we've just been doing it so long. I think, and this kind of goes back to the same with Chris and I and Dropped. And when you do something together with somebody for so long, you just get in a rhythm. And you understand if AB's going to zig, I know to zag. If I'm going to, and vice versa. It just, you get in a rhythm. We know what each other expects. We know what's coming next, and it's pretty seamless. So, the dynamic has been, if there's anything that I like about what has changed a little bit about the dynamic is over the years, you've gotten more involved in how we do what we do versus – always me thinking through and trying to call the shots, but being able to have you chime in and be like, what if we did this? Or
Bounce
what if
ideas or something.
Yeah, because, you know how I am. There is no such thing as a bad idea.
Yep.
We'll throw them all out there.
Yep.
And if they don't work, they don't work. But they're, the only bad idea is the one you really don't throw out on the table.
Yeah.
So having your involvement, I think for me, that was a big change. And I think that just came naturally with the confidence over the year and our relationship and all that kind of stuff. So
I'd have to agree. It's just the zig and zag analogy is good. I equate it to like a point guard and a shooting guard. You throw the ball, you don't even have to be looking. You know he's going to be there, kind of thing.
What's that mean? What sport's that?
Okay, so the center hits the winger on the left.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Got to put it in hockey terms.
Yep, got it. Yeah, I don't know about. I literally know nothing about basketball.
So
there's a random fact that people might not understand. I could pick a top corner from 80 feet with a hocky puck. I
couldn't hit iron on a basketball.
Oh, I can't even hit the backboard. If the backboard was the actual hoop, my score would be 0. So fun fact for you.
Fun fact.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like that, and that just comes with time. That comes with, years doing this and getting comfortable with each other. And it's not so much. It's to me, it's not work. It's two buddies out hunting, having a good time.
Yeah.
And we're blessed to be able to do what we do too.
Yep, that's exactly right. And I think both of us has said numerous times, like the minute this becomes work,
yeah,
like I'll go find something else to do.
Yep. Exactly.
Don't get me wrong, it's a ton of work.
Yes,
but it doesn't feel like. At times it can, but for the most part doesn't feel like work.
Yep, I agree. All right, moving on to the next one. What is something you wish people understood about filming a hunt?
Oh, that's a good segue. Just how much work it is.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the biggest misconception out there.
100%, because I feel like a lot of people like that might not be in the know or do it, or maybe just do it on YouTube on the side and everything. Like there's so much work that goes into when you're not in the stand dumping cards, charging batteries. Like when I get back from a sit, I am dumping cards immediately, charging batteries for the morning, getting my pack ready for the morning before I take a shower, before I eat. Like I just like to be ready for tomorrow when, we're getting up ass early and then hitting the hay.
For months on end.
Yes.
And really just, the pressure that can come with it. And, Because the reality for us is this is how we make our living. So if we go out there and we fail to capture something, then we have essentially not done our job.
Mm-hmm.
Our job is to not kill the deer. Our job is to kill the deer on camera.
Yep.
And I think we've stuck to pretty tight to that over the years and not sacrificing the stories that we try to tell just to kill a deer. We learn little tips and tricks, but there's so much pre-production that we put into it, and we care so much about how we put this content out there and what people take from it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is by accident on our behalf, so it is a lot of work, and it's a ton of time away from the family.
Yep.
And that's one of those. It's a sacrifice for sure. I mean, I just look back at, Ryder's got a birthday coming up, and he turns 11 this year, and I mean, I've been gone for like 10 of the 11.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I mean, that's tough. That's really, really tough. But I guess that'd be it for me.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
More work than we do have fun. We like to play, but it is more business.
Yep.
Yep. When we're hunting, and everybody listening that are hunters and diehard hunters, you're always thinking of your next move or what the deer's next move is going to be, and our brains never shut off. It's like when we go home, it's like a mental vacation. It's like just shut down for a little bit, and then you got to get back to it. So, yeah, I'd say the work, definitely.
Right on.
Next one. This one is, what is your favorite brand of ketchup?
It's a no-brainer. Come on, you're talking to a kid from the Berg. You got the 412, got to represent the Heinz ketchup, and I absolutely know who asked that question.
Lindsay.
I'm gonna say Lindsay.
Yeah, Lindsay.
All right, so I got a good story. We'll go down a little rabbit hole here. So Lindsay likes ketchup just as much as I do. Lindsay used to work for us at Rusted Rooster and Hatch. She's a phenomenal, fantastic writer. She's got a lot of blog stuff out there now that she does, doesn't she?
Runs a blog,
Yeah. So Lindsay's a rock star. She likes ketchup every bit as much as I do. It's
almost to a disgusting amount.
Okay. I'm going to tell everybody how disgusting this is because they're going to lose their minds when they hear this. So one day, Lynn's decided to bring into the studio.
Don't tell me.
Ketchup cupcakes.
Yeah.
They were like ketchup cupcake muffin. I think it was cupcakes. Ketchup cupcakes. And I'm not going to lie. I got right in there.
Nah.
I mean, we both went right at it.
Nope.
So we got in there, but it's got to be Heinz. Can't be Hunt's or any of those other, like, Chef's Choice or whatever that is you see sometimes in the greasy spoon. Like, I don't know what they're putting in there, but it's not the real deal.
Oh.
Heinz 57.
I'll second that. Lynn's, I was going to throw out Hunt's. I was going to say Hunt's is my favorite, but it's just not the same. But I'm going to go a step further, and I'm going to say Heinz in the glass bottle.
Oh yeah, there. Oh, you know the secret.
I do.
You do. I thought I've had to have shared the secret.
Yep.
So if you don't know the secret on a Heinz glass bottle, there's a number 57 on the side of the bottle, kind of right where it starts to neck down from the wide part to the skinny part. And if you ever have trouble getting ketchup out of the bottle, you just take your finger and tap where that 57 is, and
comes right out.
Boy, she just come out nice and smooth.
It's like the salt shaker. The lid fell off the salt shaker kind of thing, and you're like, Yeah.
Harry, do you realize what you've done? Quick, throw some salt over your right shoulder.
You hit that guy. Well, if Seabass and the fellas wanted to pick up our tab.
Couple of Boilermakers.
Seabass did? Well, if that guy at the table, Seabass.
Cam Neely, you know who that is? Cam Neely, Boston Bruin. There's a hockey one for
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
It actually was. Seabass is Cam Neely, played for the Boston Bruins forever. Ended his career, got hit by Ulf Samuelsson from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Nasty hit, terrible hit. But, another fun fact for you. While we're shooting the shit, let's just get into all of them. What do you got? Give us something. What do you got next?
Okay, next question.
Yep.
What is your most memorable time in the outdoors?
Man,
this one's a tough one because
they're all. It's why I do this. They're all memorable, but I think
let's do this because you didn't specify. Let's keep it to like our adventures. Let's do it to let's do yours like if it could be family and then our adventures.
Sure. Okay. So if it's going to be family, I'll talk about Ryder, and his first turkey kill was cool, but I got to tell you, the last turkey kill this year, his second turkey kill that he had, was pretty awesome for me because up until now, Ryder has been sitting on my lap and I've been helping. You know what I mean? Dad's still there as a steady hand kind of deal. And this year, Ryder dropped that bird. I think we stepped it at like 36 yards.
Hell of a shot.
All on his own. Like he was sitting at his own. It was 100% all him. Like I had nothing to do with it. And that was cool. That was like, all right, the little man's there. Like he's got this.
That was cool. It was a sweet hunt.
Yeah. And it was on our property, that we live on, and woke Lisa up, scared the shit out of Lisa. But yeah, it was. It'd have to be that one. That one was.
You can see that hunt also on our website at iamhumanable.com. You go to the 989 Gobbler Club. Scroll down, you'll see Ryder's turkey hunt.
Yep.
Check it out. It's a pretty cool hunt.
Yeah. So that'd be my family one. I do have another one outside of that I'll never ever forget. But go ahead. You give one first.
Family one.
Ooh, punch buggy, no punchbacks.
Sure. Did you just see that lady adjusting her bra?
No, I didn't.
In the parking lot.
I did.
Wow. Just saw that. Okay. Anyway, my family one, this is a tough one. It is a tough one because there's so many. Oh, I'm going to have to go 2 years ago. Well, it would have been not this last winter. No, it was this last winter. Late season. Went out doe hunting. Shot a doe with my gun. Kind of feel the freezer. Had Peyton come out with us, Peyton and my wife. And I just let her take the blood trail. Just like showed her blood and just kind of held her in the path and everything and filmed it on my phone. And she walked up, but she got like so close to the deer. It was in the wide open. And she couldn't see it because her head was so like locked into the blood and everything. And all of a sudden she looked up and she goes, oh my God. Like it hit her. You know, you could see it in her face like, wow. Like I found that, and what is that? That is crazy. So that was pretty cool as a dad to kind of see that face, that reaction on her of like, oh my gosh, this, and then she just screamed, oh my gosh, like not like scared. It was like really cool for her to do that. So I would say that going. All
the thing about it with kids is you got so many firsts to look forward to, right? Like Ryder's first turkey was fantastic. His first deer, I could have easily said his first deer last year.
Yeah.
Because that was unbelievable too. I mean,
I remember when he called me after he shot it. He called me and he goes, hey, AB, I shot him right in the scapula.
Yeah, he did. He goes, right through the scapula. Yeah, Ryder knows the anatomy of whitetails pretty well.
Yes, he does.
He's a diehard. But I think probably the most meaningful of all of them for me, just because of what it's led to over the years, would have to be Maniac, the very first caribou or animal that we were fortunate enough to take on dropped. I had gone up to Alaska. We got dropped for the first time ever. We had basically like 28 days. We knew we weren't going to see anybody until the other end. We had no food, on purpose, obviously, but we had no food. The pressure was on. We kind of sold this show to the network, and it was like, well, we got to make this happen because that plane's not coming back for a month.
Right.
So this is do or die time. And, a couple of days went by, and I was really having a hard time with it because it was Ryder's would have been his first birthday. He'd have turned 1 year old. And, I mean, it was one of those, like, if I'm going to miss his birthday, I have got to make this worthwhile.
Yep.
And we set out, as a foursome there, the crew, and took off up the mountain and hauled ass and got over and were able to get there and make a shot. And, he was an awesome bull, giant caribou, giant mane, fantastic meat. And that caribou fed us for like 18 days. I mean, we lived off that caribou. Yeah, forever. But it was just, I'll never forget being on the side of that mountain. And it was like the weight of the world just came off my shoulders because A, I made his birthday worthwhile, and B, okay, we had something, right? Like it was.
This is accomplished.
Yep,
like
we can do this.
We can do it.
Yep. It was the birth of dropped, really, in my mind. So yeah, that one will be hard to beat. And I've been on dropped a lot and killed a lot of animals. From sheep to moose to caribou, other caribou. That one was special.
Yep. Man, I would have to say I'm going to go back to 2013. It would have been my first fall with you guys when we killed Strong Arm.
Yep.
And the deer's a massive deer. He scored like 175.
Yep.
But that was one of the first like legit professional TV hunts I was ever a part of, and how that whole hunt went down, seeing him that morning from a different stand, getting down, pulling another stand down and hanging another stand in hopes that the doe would bring him by. And we figured he'd be coming to this inside corner, and lo and behold, what did he do? He walked the script that we thought he was going to, smacked him at 4 yards.
Yeah,
I tight. Yeah, real tight.
Yeah.
And that was really cool for me.
That was a good one. Immediately followed up right after David Blanton. He shot Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan that same day.
Over on a spot we called Blanton's Bench, and right after he shot Dan. I think Chris had just picked him up from the stand, and him and David were back at the barn or whatever when I got a hold of him. They all came out to the field, and that was a good one.
Yep, agreed. Okay, gonna move on here.
Yep.
Tree saddle or tree stand? What do you prefer?
Tree stand.
Yep.
Millennium M60 U. M60 Ultralight. That's my go-to. Quick and easy to hang. Unbelievably comfortable to sit in.
They are.
Like, can't even describe how comfortable they are to sit in. And I mean, they're rock solid.
Yep.
Super lightweight, easy. Like, that's easy. Sorry, Millennium.
I'm the same way. I'm a tree stand guy. I have hunted out of a saddle back in the day. Saddles have their place. They're both like tools in the toolbox. I get that.
Yep.
But I'm a tree stand guy, and if you're picking out a favorite, I really like the Millennium M7. It's really small, really light.
Yeah,
still
micro light.
Yep, still a comfortable seat, so that's what I'm going to pick right there.
There you go.
All right, next one. Who's got the bigger buck bragging rights? I'll start because you do, because you killed a 208-inch mule deer.
Sure.
So,
Yep.
You with a bow, you did the pinnacle, you hit the 200 mark, even though it was a mule deer. 200-inch mule deer are not easy to come by either.
No.
They're big, but they're...
Well, we spent 14 days chasing them the first time.
Yeah.
And we have them to 96 yards twice, I think.
Yep.
And didn't get it done. It took us OT. We had to go to OT on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as whitetail though, I think you got me licked with the Hambino, don't you? Because Megatron was what, 186,
and
rib cage was 182.
Rib cage was 186.
Megatron was 182.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. You're right.
So whitetails, I might have you 186 and I think 2/8. I might have you by 2/8.
Well, add in the flesh wound you gave me, and you probably got more than that.
There's a question about that in here. We'll get into that later.
Oh, great.
Oh,
great.
Right. Moving on. So, what are some early season strategies for deer? Season opens September 4th in Kentucky. So this is a Kentucky guy.
Yep.
And he's looking for some early season strategies. Early September.
Man, early season can be tough.
Your hunt might only be a half hour at night.
Yep, you're going to be quick. It's going to be hot, but man, if you can get them where they're still patternable, like,
yes.
Oh, it can be, I don't want to say easy, but it can be way easier than it is 3 weeks from now or 6 weeks from now or wherever the hell season may open where you're at. It's, it's generally speaking, it's that kind of last half hour, last 45 minutes of daylight kind of thing. Now you get a freak little weather change. Yeah, maybe they start moving. Hell, it was like 50 degrees the other night back home, or it got down into the 40s. You might get lucky like that, but for the most part, pattern your deer, know their patterns, and pay attention to the winds and what they're doing on those patterns.
Winds are huge.
Yeah, because they seem stupid because they're so regular. They're not stupid. Don't mistake their regularity for stupidity, because that's not the case. They're still every bit as wily and crazy as they are. So
for sure,
scent game, get your scent game on, because you could blow it up just as easily as you could be successful.
Yep.
So yeah, I would say don't mix it up. Their regularity does not mean stupidity. That's my word to the wise.
If we're talking early season like September, like this, in September, I mean, if you're in a state that you can feed, it puts the odds in your favor a little bit.
Absolutely.
That does come with some very, things that could be very tough. That could be a lot of eyes. That could be you're trying to get out of the stand and deer on feed. It's like you're blowing deer out. So that does come with its challenges, but that's one thing. But like you talked about temperature drops. I mean, it might in Kentucky it might be 80, 90 degrees, but you might get a 10-degree drop. That's pretty good.
That's significant.
That's significant that time of year. Yeah,
absolutely.
Water. I personally wouldn't hunt mornings.
No, I wouldn't hunt mornings
in September.
No, but and then the other thing would be water, right?
Water's huge.
If you got water source,
yep.
Because right now with the high temps, like focus on water. So there you go. Good luck. If you shoot one, let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
Want to see them? So send them over to our social media world.
Social medias.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to get to the next page. I should have been more prepared here.
Here, you see this lightning? We got a heavy lightning bouncing right now. I feel like we're heading right into it too.
Right into the belly of the beast. Great. Now I can't find. Here we go. Right here. Scroll down. Nope. I am like, we got dead air right here. Dead air.
Oh, you got
Don't
nothing.
like it.
No service.
Yeah, we're literally in Illinois right now, and it's the armpit. It's the armpit of. These are on my phone, on Instagram, and I'm trying to. Okay, here's one. How often do you guys find yourself hunting from the ground to kill a buck?
So I am not against hunting from the ground at all, ever. Matter of fact, I was on a big kick for a while there where we tried to ground and pound a lot.
Yes.
I think under the right circumstances.
It's a good setup.
Yeah, it is. Oof. Under the right circumstances, I think the ground can be deadly. I've had some really cool hunts from the ground. I remember I had in Iowa, just because of the terrain and some of the terraces out there in the fields. Yep. You can use that to your advantage. I had an awesome hunt out there. I had probably 150, mid-50s, big heavy 9 come right to I swear he was from here to the front of the pickup, 8-10 feet.
Yep.
And he stood there chest on staring at me, and I was at full draw, but I couldn't shoot him chest on because it would have been useless footage, and it's probably not the greatest shot in the world to take, although I was only 8 feet away. So I was pretty confident I could have made it happen. But man, the ground can be awesome. But yeah, you gotta find the terrain that works and the wind,
patience,
and pattern.
Patience.
Yep, and the right conditions. You got to be quiet, and you're at eye level, so they're much more used to looking out for bad things at eye level than they are when you're up in the sky. But I'll do it. I mean, I'm never against it. I think we've had some awesome hunts. Chris has had some phenomenal stalks. I go back to some of the ones he's had in Illinois. That buck bedded out in the bean field.
Yep.
And the big semi way off in the road when he saw him stalking, he hit the brake. Hit the Jake brake, and the deer heard it and jumped up, and he blew the hunt for Chris. That
was crazy.
Yeah,
that was season 1 arrival.
Yeah, but he was laying in those beans, and you see his antlers sticking up. So yeah, man, ground and pound's freaking sweet.
Yep, definitely. It's tricky, but it is cool.
Yep.
I've done it a couple times here in Michigan. Killed a couple does doing it with a bow.
Yep.
But it is a lot of things to think about, like get in a deadfall or build something, or just so you can get your bow back and movement and all that stuff. But it can be deadly.
Yep.
Next one hunt that you guys have done together. Wait, said it wrong. One hunt filmed together. If you two could go back and change the outcome, what would it be? I know mine.
I got. All right, you go first.
Arkansas Dave Rudabaugh.
Yeah.
Is mine. This one.
Why'd you blow that one up?
Okay. As a producer, you do not want to get seen. You don't want to blow the hunt. And I flippin' got seen with my pants around my ankles. Let's just put it that. I wanted to tie the rope around my neck and jump out of the stand. This big deer.
I mean, he's only 170 something.
Yeah, give or take, plus or minus a couple inches.
Yeah.
Comes in behind the stand. Casey rattled him in.
He came in like a freight train,
too.
Yeah,
in the giggly weeds, in the thick stuff, and I tried to get underneath my tether of my harness and try to get the camera around, and I blew the whole hunt. I was in bad shape for a couple days. I think I flipped out on Chris. I was throwing F-bombs out there. I had to apologize afterwards because nobody deserved that. I was so upset at myself that That is definitely one that I really want back. I threw a pick. in the Super Bowl late seconds to win the game, and
Pick six.
God.
On the reverse end, there's a couple that I'd like to have back because on my side, when I miss a deer, I feel like I completely let you down entirely. I let myself down entirely. That's what we're there for.
Yep.
But I'm not going to sit here and pretend I don't miss. Hell, everybody. Well, maybe not everybody misses. Let's be honest. But I've missed a couple here over the last few years. I had a bad run there for a while. I got the yips.
Yeah.
I got the yips there for a little while, and it was bad. But the one I remember the most was Fence Post, I think we called him. In Illinois, we're sitting in that food plot, and that one young buck was out there, and he got real jumpy. And he was like, oh, and we could tell another deer was coming.
Yep.
And that deer hopped in the field, and he came out, and it was a chip shot. I felt like it was a chip shot, and, it was a chip shot. I just missed it. I dropped my bow, and I tried to watch the arrow hit him.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm like
belly.
racking my brain, like, what? Fence post? Now I know.
Yeah,
tall, tight
tall,
deer.
tight 10.
Guy in the 70s.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I remember that now.
And then the next year I shaved curly.
Yep.
I just thought of one real quick.
And then Ohio last year.
Apparently I just shoot deer in the neck now.
You'll see that on the TV show this year.
I don't know what I was up to there. I still, to this day, I'm like, I know what I did. I leaned because I had that branch, and I'm like, if I just lean like this, and in my head I said, don't lean.
Yep.
But in my other side of my head, I was like, yeah, go ahead and lean, you dummy.
Yeah.
And then I let her fly, and it was not good. But yeah, man, you get the yips every now and then. But those ones for me, I'm the reverse, right? I'm like, man, there was our chance. We've been gutting it out, and I just blew it. Like that's
right.
That's a bad feeling. But I did think of one talking about the outcome and changing the outcome, right?
Sorry if you can hear rain. It is starting to rain cats and dogs right now.
Pouring.
It's kind of soothing.
Yeah, ambiance.
Yeah.
Changing the outcome. Can we talk shakes for a second?
Ooh.
Because that was to the fault of none of us.
Yeah.
That was again a chip shot at, what was it, like 26 yards?
Yeah.
Draw back, settle in.
Yeah.
Limb snaps in half.
Yeah.
200 and whatever inch whitetail stands there.
Not on a Matthews bow, a different bow.
Correct.
Just leave it there.
He sits there, lip curls and stares at us, nudges the does, and I'm like, well, we're up here completely useless.
This deer is definitely in the 180s, possibly
huge.
in the low to mid 90s.
He had it, I'm telling you. I think he had it. I think he had the magic number.
He could have. The deer was in the truck in my eyes already. He was in the back of the truck. This was done deal. And then to hear that limb go, oof.
Scared me.
Oof.
Hindsight, I probably could have let it go. I don't know what would have happened to the bow at that point.
Yep.
But all that went through my head is, if I grass bag this deer, or if I hoof him, if I hoof him, and he's gone forever.
Yep.
Like, this would be so bad. So there's one for you.
Yeah, that's a good one. I kind of forgot about him. We've been on so many hunts, so many different deer.
Yep.
It's just, yeah. Okay, so what are some tactics for hunting scrapes in October? Let's break it down. Let's break it down like early October, 1st to the 15th first, and then like, that 20th through the, or 15th through the 31st, because it can be vastly different.
The scrape game can be tricky. I think as hunters, we all get fired up when we see the scrapes. And you're like, oh, man, they're over here just ripping and shredding, and I'm going to sit right on this sucker. Well, yeah, 99.9% of what's happening to that scrape is at like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yep.
So the scrape game can be tricky. For me, scrapes are, I like the big community scrapes because they're awesome spots to gather intel. I love putting trail cameras
on them.
Oh, I love putting cameras on those big community scrapes because that's going to give you an awesome inventory. But, we don't hunt scrapes all that often.
No.
Right? I mean, I'll hunt the twos and the froms, but not really sitting over scrapes. Now, you get some of those bucks that come out in daylight, and a lot of those field edge scrapes, that they'll hit as soon as they come into the field. They kind of make their rounds and beat a few of them up and do their thing. But for the most part, I don't really hunt over scrapes.
My favorite scrape, especially even in October, Because if I find a scrape like last year, October 2nd, I was doing a hang and hunt in Michigan, walked in an area, it was an oak flat, right on the edge of some bedding. I walked in and found a scrape that was freshly hit, and it was tight to heavy cover.
Yep.
That is kind of my favorite. And the good thing it was kind of in a staging area on the way to destination food. So, like, I hunted it that night, and I had a buck come and hit it. You know, it wasn't big enough, but those deer coming out of bed. If my favorite scrape is to find one that is real tight to some thick cover.
Yep.
You know, even in October, and I'll sit it. If there's something in the middle of a mature forest, like mature, you can see through it and everything. Probably those are getting hit at night more than likely.
Yep.
I'll probably graze by those ones and go to the ones that are getting into some thicker cover. So that would be, if you can find one that's got some thick cover around it, hey, throw a sit at it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Moving on. One thing you would tell your early 20s self getting into producing quality deer hunting content. Don't do it.
Don't.
Don't do it.
Don't.
Don't do it.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. The age-old adage, I remember saying this back when I was a guide, and I've never really gotten away from it, but, they say if you love to hunt, don't become a guide, right? Because you spend most of your time guiding and not actually hunting anymore. But, the production side, listen, it's one thing to try and capture the moment of truth on film. That is what it is. If that's what you mean, then by all means, like, have at her, get after it. But it takes a certain level of passion to really try to tell a story, I think, But for me, that's why I love doing what I do, because I try to mine out the story everywhere it exists. So if you're not a real storyteller and you want to just capture the kill, get after it. But if you are trying to build something, then you've got to mine storylines. You got to look anywhere and everywhere you can for those subtle details and those small storylines. I think Marcus Aurelius once said the key to all success lies in the organization of the non-obvious, and that's storytelling at its finest, right?
Yep.
Because it's looking what's past right in front of you to see those underlying stories. So for me, if you're going to get into it, make it worth your while and become a storyteller.
And to go off Casey's point, be a storyteller regardless of the camera gear you have. You can tell a really compelling story with a GoPro. You know what I mean? Like, you really can.
Absolutely.
And you can get an eye for it. So
Yep.
I'm going to go a little different. Not to say I don't agree with that. I agree with all that stuff. But I'm going to say, if I was to tell myself, my early 20s self, get to know a camera.
Yeah.
Get to know it, know the functions of it, understand composition, understand color, and, good quality shots. Like, understand that. And then along with that, stories. And don't like, make it not fun for yourself. If you don't want to take the camera one night, don't take the camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do it, but make sure you want to do it, and don't break your bank trying to get into it.
Yep.
Because you don't know if you're going to like it or not. That's what I would say.
Bingo. Yeah, that technical aspect is incredibly important.
Yep. All right. Next one is, who is more afraid of the dark?
Such a random question. I'm not really afraid of the dark.
I'm not really afraid of the dark either. There is times where the hair stands up on my back because there's a pack of 13 coyotes that lit up right out of the blue down underneath the stand. But
it also depends on where the dark is. We get a thing in Alaska we call the first night bear. Every time we switch camps or we float the river, you get into a new camp setting, and there's all these new sounds, right?
Yes.
So there's like a new branch in the water that's going whoosh, 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 and you're like, oh, here he comes. He's coming for us. So the first night bear. So yeah, nighttime in Alaska can get a little hairy.
I will say Alaska has an eerie feeling to it when it gets dark. It doesn't get dark often, but it's got an eerie feeling to it. But yeah, I'm not really afraid of the dark. I will say I got a cedar swamp at our family farm in Michigan that we've got some bears in every once in a while, and going in there in the morning, it couldn't fit a greased BB up my ass a couple times. But
You think about it.
You think about it. It's like, man, do I really want to go that deep this morning?
Yeah, you think about it.
Yeah, but okay, got a couple more here. What is the most dangerous situation you have been in while on a hunting trip?
Mine would be just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine would be, up until then, it was definitely being charged by numerous grizzlies and grizzly encounters that we've had on drop. But just a couple of weeks ago, and I don't even think we've done a full podcast on this yet, but we probably will. A few weeks ago, I survived a plane crash in Alaska. So I was able to walk away. Both the pilot and myself were able to walk away from a disaster up there unscathed. Took an oil can to the back of the head, but other than that,
we can laugh about it now.
Yeah, now I can laugh about it. But no, it shook me up pretty good. I've been flying with those pilots up there for a long time. And usually those guys are one with the plane. And we just got into a situation where, I feel like the pilot himself was a little jumpy and wasn't too confident. And the sad part is I could feel it. When I got in that plane, I could feel it. We were in a 206. Completely empty, just he and I, 80 pounds of gear, which is nothing for a 206. And, the pilot just had made some kind of mental mistakes, and we ended up slamming into the ground. So that was the one that, of all the things that have happened in my life and in my career so far, that none of it's ever really made me change the way I think, except for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that one is by far and away the most dangerous situation that I in complete honesty, like I said when it was happening, this is it. Like in my mind, I said, this is it. And, they say your life flashes before your eyes, and I'm here to tell you it actually flashes before your eyes. I mean, I've known some people that have been close like that. My brother, I've watched my brother go through it for years.
Yep.
He was on the verge at one point in a really bad car accident. And I never felt like I'd ever understand that feeling.
Yep.
Until now. And I definitely understand it. It kind of makes you start to wonder and question everything in life. And I think it's still, we're not a month removed from it,
Yep.
And it's still one of those things where I'm a month out now. And I just find myself, I'll be sitting down, late at night after I put the kids to bed. And I'm constantly still thinking about it.
Yep.
Which is not the case when I get charged by grizzlies or grizzlies hit the tent at night or whatever it is. But for some reason, I can't seem to mentally not go there. And I just, my brain will click over and I'll just find myself daydreaming about, like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, that was so close.
So close. A definitely kiss the ground moment for you.
Yep. Yeah. And thankfully, like I said, Pilot and I both unscathed. Had a couple days in the bush to try to find a ride out. So found her ride out, and I'm back here. But and to that point, when I finally found somebody that would be able to come in and get me, which was 3 days afterwards. Never in my life have I been scared to get on a plane. I've never even had the thought cross my mind in all the years I've been flying out there. And when that cub hit the ground to pick me up, I looked at a bush plane specifically for the first time and asked myself, do I really want to get on that plane?
Yeah. That's tough.
Because if I'm on, the saying, if you're only as good as your last fight, I'm 0-1 right now.
Yeah.
Like, we just had a major malfunction here. But it was the only way out, and I kind of got over it and said, get your ass back on the saddle and let's do this, because without it, I don't get to go back out and do what I love to do. So, and, it was the most gorgeous flight ever. So it was, that'd be it for me.
Mine, before I get into that, though, we were going to go on Dropped this year, and that's one of the reasons why we're not doing Dropped this year.
Yep.
But we won't get into that. So just so you guys, if you're wondering, but mine would definitely be 2014. I was up in Northwest Territories. We were on a rock bed. We were caribou hunting in the mountains and had a pretty aggressive black bear charge 3 times. She bluff charged twice, came the full length the third time, and our guide had to shoot her right there, right at our footsteps. And the thing with black bears are they attack you to kill you. Not that a grizzly doesn't, but a grizzly will play with you a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like black bears are, a lot of people are afraid of grizzlies, which, and rightfully so, they should be, but black bears are mean.
Dude,
they are mean.
I'll take a grizz over a black bear any day.
Yeah.
Black bears are so curious that they're unpredictable.
So curious. They're almost like cats. They're almost like...
Can't trust them.
You can't.
Yep.
Can't trust them.
Yep. Can't trust them. I'll take a grizzly encounter over a black bear encounter any day because you just don't know. A grizz will posture and do his thing, and a black bear will too, but then all of a sudden you turn and they're like 3 feet away on the other side of you, and they're like, hey, here I am, rawr, and they attack your ass. So
that was definitely a pucker moment for me. But, yeah. And another question here. Casey, did you have to get stitches after AB zipped a broadhead across your tricep when he shot his buck in Iowa?
There's a question. Yes. No, I didn't have to get stitches, but boy, she was tight. I ended up not getting...
There was some fabric missing out here.
Yep, there was definitely tore the old jacket open on that one. It wasn't my tricep. It was my calf. It was like quad calf level, actually, somewhere in the middle there. And I was shocked I didn't get shot. But hey,
worked out.
The Hambino did, and he gone.
Yeah,
so,
worked out.
Yeah,
yeah. That's I think all the questions we have. But I kind of wanted to get into something a little bit with you, and that's some behind-the-scene moments that we've had that never really talked about, that we can talk about, that might have happened. A lot of people ask me, like, what's the vibe in the tree stand? Like, when you're not seeing deer, what are you guys doing? It's like, other than being on your phone a little bit maybe or something like that. But, we have conversations. It's we talk about crazy, stupid, wild stuff, and
most of the time we're just being idiots.
Yeah.
Trying to pass the time, you know what I mean? So doing a little shimmy dance, talking about how good Casey's pizza would be. No, we get in all kinds of stuff in there. Behind the scenes wise, when we're in the tree, man, it's, again, I go back to, we try to be as serious as we can because we want to get the job done and we want it to be awesome and we want people to love the story. But at the same time, we got to have fun. Because if we're not having fun, I'm not doing this anymore. That's just the way it goes.
And that just makes the time away from being the family not even worth it. So you gotta, you gotta find positivity. Being positive is just, that's the name of the game. Trying to do it and trying to uplift each other, and that's the thing. It's like I said it before. Your minds are always going. Always, what's the next move? What are we doing? Where are we sitting in the morning? Well, I don't know. Let's check the wind. Let's check the weather. What intel do we have? And it's it's constant go, 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 I feel like. It is every fall. I wish we could slow it down a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. No, we get some good stuff. Some of my favorite behind-the-scenes stuff comes on Dropped, especially back when JB was filming Dropped, because that guy is the funniest guy. I mean, I think that back to the Yukon in particular when he had that horse, Casper, and she didn't like the mud, and oh man, there's some stories there, and I'm sure we got some behind the scenes video. We should do a story just on at IamHumanimal.com just on that alone, and the horse out. He'd go up and he could be like, it's just me in the car wash up here getting hit in the face with willow branches soaking wet. Everybody else is down where it's nice and dry in the valley or in the creek bed. I mean, there's stuff like that goes on that, and to me, most of the times I remember that a lot more than I remember about the hunt itself. Yeah. Because it's the camaraderie with the boys and the whole 9 yards. And then there's other times like that trip in the Yukon. I was tying a fly on one time, and I had the line draped down. I had my fly rod sitting down, and the line had a big U in it, and I put the fly in my mouth because I was getting some tippet or something off the spool. And I said to my brother when I put the fly in my mouth, I said, hey, don't step backwards, because if he stepped, he was going to hit my fly line.
Yep.
So I put the fly in my mouth, and no sooner than the word don't step backwards, I finished saying it, he stepped backwards, and he set the hook right in my lip. I mean, I here I am, middle of nowhere Yukon, and, now I've got a number 8 stonefly jammed through my lip, and he looks up and he goes, oh, why didn't you tell me that was there? I'm like, okay. So the whole don't step backwards thing didn't really mean anything, it was something along those lines. But, You know, that's the kind of stuff that I latch onto, right?
Mhm.
Because that's what makes the trip for me, is that time spent shooting the shit when we're in the stand and you know, just being dummies, I like to call it.
Yep. Agreed. You know, I missed a couple questions. Boy,
What do you got? Fire away.
need to find it here.
Think I'll wreck my truck if I reach back for this water?
It's
Maybe.
quite possible.
Maybe.
So there was a question here, and I remember it now, and I didn't. And I'm trying to find it. I can't remember how it's worded.
Ask me no questions, I tell you no lies.
Okay, here's one.
My 6th grade English teacher used to say it all the time.
What is okay? This is one I definitely skimmed over. What is one of the most important things you've learned from your time in the woods?
That's
a good question.
Just when you think you know everything, realize you know nothing. You know, I think oftentimes as hunters, sorry, I'm just trying to get this water out. Oftentimes as hunters, you know, we can study and do what we do and try to learn weather patterns and ups and downs and what happens when there's an east wind and a west wind and a thermal here and a thermal there and this food here. I mean, we make it so technical that we have to understand at the end of the day, it's Mother Nature.
Yeah.
And it's going to do what it's going to do.
Yep.
Right?
Can't change it.
That's right. And oftentimes I think we put so much pressure on ourselves by doing that. And I've fallen victim to this too. And you and I have talked about this a lot
All the time.
in the tree. Like, whatever happened to the good old mystery hunt? Like, I do miss those days. And we will do it occasionally where it's like, I don't know what's in there, man.
Last year we had a lot of mystery hunts.
Yeah, we're like, let's go hunt. I mean, we know the stand's in a good spot. Let's just go see, right? We fall back on technology and trail cameras and planning and mapping, and all of that stuff is great. We do it religiously. But there's also something to be said for, dude, it's Mother Nature.
Yep.
So if you don't get your ass out there, then you really don't stand a chance. And I think just knowing that and understanding that as much as we think we know, we really don't know anything.
I know.
Because it can all change in 5 seconds.
It changes every minute.
Yeah.
It literally does.
Yep.
In the fall, I mean, deer are just, they're going to do what they're going to do. We give them way too much credit. I give them too much credit every day.
Yep.
I do.
Yep.
You know, and I there was this question that came up not too long ago, and it's like, well, the guy was like, well, the deer's, you know, they've got me patterned. I don't know if I believe in that in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The
Yep.
deer just, I don't know. They just do what they do. They're nomadic. They're animals.
Yeah, and not only they're a prey animal, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like they're a predator; they're a prey animal. So yeah, if they sense something could be dangerous, they're like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go the other way, right? And that could be, the guy that hammers the glass pack on the road that drives by your field every day,
Hate
or
that.
could be you checking your mailbox. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Mother Nature. Like, we always got to remember that, and she always knows better than we do.
Oh,
so
yeah.
always. So we start out at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Definitely.
get your ass out there.
Okay, this is the one that I couldn't find and finally did. How do you approach a stand when the leaves have fallen and there's no way to walk quietly?
That's a cool question. I had to deal with this not so much in the Midwest because we really pay attention to access, ins and outs, and
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes cut fields can be nice and quiet, and field edge stands are super easy. But growing up, hunting in Western Pennsylvania, I had to deal with this a lot because we were in some hilly country and some big nasty
Yep.
stuff. Ohio, we have to deal with it down
All
there
the time.
when we hunt. One of the things that I was taught as a kid, going in and out, as long as you're not in the pitch black, but like early morning, a lot of times I prefer to go in rather than use any type of light, red, green, or white, or whatever. I'd rather not use any light. So I would wait, even as a kid, until I could see just enough, especially if I was gun hunting. If I was gun hunting, I'm stalking in during daylight, right? But I would wait until you could see just enough to not have to use a light to be able to walk through the timber. And I'd have some pretty long walks back in the hollows and back in some of those draws or out on ridge tops. And I would take a turkey call with me. And I would just make turkey noises.
Purr and everything?
Yep. Just as I was walking through the woods, I would make turkey noises. Is that a tornado right there? You see that?
Yeah. Gosh, it looks like it.
Sure does, doesn't it? Yeah. Might be storm chasing here in
Yeah.
any minute now, folks. Hey, we killed a deer after a tornado one time.
We did, Missouri.
Down in Missouri. Yeah, I would just, putt, purr, cluck, like just make turkey sounds as you're walking through the woods. And whether it worked or not, I don't know. I mean, if the deer sees you, he go, right?
Yeah.
But in the event that they can't see you and you're walking through and you're making that rustling noise, at least it gave some sort of other sound that was familiar.
Yep.
In my mind, I was like, well, it would make sense if they can't see you and they hear the leaves and then they hear the turkeys. Maybe they'll think it's turkeys, right? I didn't think it would hurt, so.
Right, and that's something that I can't get my head over. And we do it out of state whenever we go in a little later, a lot.
Yep.
But like when I'm in Michigan, like for some reason I can't get it through my head to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I just want to be in the stand early, let the woods come alive, kind of sneak in under the cover of darkness.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to get over that. But to your point, I think if the deer cannot see you, like you said, you being slow and methodical, and even though you're making rustling noises and everything, it could be a squirrel, it could be a possum, it could be anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I don't think deer mind it if they can't see you.
There's another key part there, and so I don't use a turkey call anymore. I did it as a kid. But what I will try to do, and I think is very important, is don't be rhythmic when you're walking.
Yep.
Don't be, you know what I mean? If you're going to make noise, maybe try to make a little extra noise and then stop and pause for a little bit. I mean, mimic a squirrel. We've all heard squirrels in the tree, right? I mean, that's the other thing is the woods aren't dead quiet. Like a lot of noises happen in the woods, right? Whether it's branches snapping or trees falling or, a lot of noises can happen. So yeah, I mean, just vary it, vary your pacing, vary everything. Try to change it up a little bit. Try to not sound like a two-legged upright predator.
Yep.
And see what happens.
One thing I do, and this is because Casey and I film, but if you have two people, and this is something I do, and it's something I've actually never even told you this, but whenever we're walking to a stand, Casey normally goes first. And what I do when I'm walking, I pay attention to him, and I put my footprints in his footprints.
Right.
If he snaps a branch, I know not to put my foot there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to double snap. I don't want to, and in my head, I feel like I'm alleviating more ground scent. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Instead of having 4 boot tracks, there's 2 boot tracks, 4, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I put my footsteps in your footsteps almost all the time.
Yeah.
That's just another trick you could do if you have 2 guys and you're the guy behind them, I guess.
Yep.
But just stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. A lot of times some of the stuff that we do too, and I learned this back in the guiding days, if there's 2 of you, depending on if you think you're going to enter an area where deer can see you, try and look like 1 instead of 2.
Yep.
From that direction. So if you're walking head on and you think the deer would be looking straight at you, then get in a line behind one another. If you're walking and you think the deer would be off your left shoulder, then try to stack your, my right shoulder to your left shoulder, so we're stacked that way. Yep. We've done a lot of stalks and stuff like that on the ground just to try to minimize the profile that they could potentially see. And it's amazing too, deer have a hard time. To a certain distance, deer have a harder time picking you up if you're traveling directly at them.
Yep.
Same with a human versus, perpendicular to them. They can see that a whole hell of a lot better. So, we kind of went on a tangent there, but all kinds of little tips and tricks. But, yeah, get out there and give her a whirl.
I've talked to you about scent control. I know what you do for scent control. And I honestly... It's not that I don't believe in scent control. I still do scent control, but my scent control has been dumbed down a lot from like what it has been in the past.
Yep.
Is
that why we're getting blown in the tree all the time? There's something you're trying to tell me here, or where are we going with this?
No.
Dude, Slider, you stink.
What I do is, I still wash my clothes in scent-free detergent. I try not to wear them in the vehicle. I get dressed when we get there. I put cedar boughs or oak leaves and everything in my tubs.
Yep.
I do use the dirt wafers. I just like to have them in my my bow case and stuff. And but that's about it. We don't typically do a lot of spraying down. We play the wind.
Yep.
So that's kind of where my scent control in a lot of ways stops. A lot of people, it's just, I don't know. It's a hot button topic for a lot of people, and I don't know. There's some guys out there that hunt blue jeans and kill big deer and kill deer all the time, and then there's guys that scent lock to the gills and they only touch their clothes if they have gloves on. It's like, okay, if that's the way you do it and it works, do it.
Yep. And I think first and foremost, play the wind
100%
without fail, no matter what. Yeah, there's times you can risk it, and we've covered that in plenty of other podcasts. I think you get into the rut when they get crazy and those eyes roll back in their head and they don't really give a shit about anything.
Yep.
You can push your limits, but Oz, we've been using some Oz stuff the last couple of years, but there's still, and the folks at Oz would tell you this too. Play the wind. The worst thing that ever happened was the slogan, "Forget the wind, just hunt."
Yeah.
That was, and everybody's like, "Oh, really? Okay,
doesn't matter."
Yeah, cool. And the woods just blew to pieces. But I think back to growing up. I mean, my dad was a crazy successful whitetail hunter growing up in the hills of Pennsylvania, and they played not just the wind, but we had to fight thermals.
Yep.
Playing the thermals and the wind, and look at all the old timers in the Mackinac Platte out there, busting deer left and right. So there's no excuse. I mean, play the wind. That's first and foremost. Other than that, none of it past that point is going to hurt.
Yep.
Right? It can only help.
Yep.
So that's how I've always looked at it. Is any of those measures and steps that we take, I don't believe would hurt me anymore. Therefore, I can do them.
Right. And we use the Oz lockers with the the ozone machine. I like doing that too because, like you said, I don't think it hurts you in any way.
Yeah.
Yep. The Oz bag. I like having the bag. It's a big duffel bag.
Yep.
And
it's got the perforated hose in it.
Yep. Good for traveling. You just throw a little. There's times I miss doing a cycle. I might not turn it on. I don't think it's the end of the world, but it does help. I would think.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I will say I started getting relaxed last year without wearing knee-high boots. And this is my theory on it. Not that, knee-high boots, so rubber boots, they don't hold scent or bacteria and the scent and everything.
Nope.
But my feet sweat. My name's
feet.
Deer.
That's why his name's Feet.
My feet sweat so bad, and there's so much stench in my boots that I feel like it leaks out the top.
Yeah.
And really, knee-high boots are not comfortable to me. So I was wearing lace-ups,
Yeah.
But
I'm a fan of knee highs. It's just, I don't know. I like them. They're comfortable for me to hunt in. I love them. I believe in the theory behind it of not having any scent bound to that rubber and everything else. So
I don't have knee highs for this year. I gotta get some.
Great. Here we go. See, switching shit up on me. This is why we're getting busted in a tree all of a sudden.
This is not a word of a lie. I have to buy knee highs. I ruin knee highs in 2 months every fall, every year because my feet are. I've got terrible feet. They're not ugly feet. I don't think they're good looking feet, but. They just stink.
Okay, wait a minute. Back up. Is there anything? Is there any such thing as a good-looking foot?
No, not at all.
There's not. So let's just leave that where it's at.
Nope. Not a good-looking foot out there.
Little tip for people though is ozone can wreak havoc on rubber boots.
Yes.
So it has a tendency to get in there and dry them out and crack them over time. So just be careful if you are.
And spandex.
Chucking those in there.
Like the spandex material, it can wreak havoc on those over time as well.
Yep. And what is ozone? Like 018 or something, right? It's like some crazy number.
Yeah.
So
something like that.
Yeah, something in this upper echelon there.
I think that's literally. I don't think I skimmed over all the questions. I think that's what we got there.
There was something else I was going to say, but I don't really remember what it was.
I got to come up with a name for you still, and But my whole thing, I don't know what you're. I think you'd be a methodical deer because you're a methodical person. You are very thought out. Like, so I think before you enter a field, I think you would be like, whoop, 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 easy, hang on, just gonna check here. Nope, this isn't where I'm entering. Nope, yeah. You're gonna do a big old loop, and then you're gonna come in. It might take you 4 times, but you're very methodical. So something.
So I'd live long. I'd be like an 8-year-old.
Yeah, you would be, and then but I think you'd still have that heavy framed broom tips.
So what's my name?
You'd be a double throat patch.
Like Nubs? My name like Nubs? Nubby? No. What's my name?
Nubs.
Still got to come up.
Nubby Pines.
I can't be the nameless buck at the end of the episode here.
I'm trying to think of like methodical. Give me a character that's methodical.
Oh gosh. I don't know. I have no idea.
Like a Bill Nye. Like
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Yeah, Bill Nye the Science Guy. That's it.
History buff. Give me a history buff.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm going to call you the history teacher. That's your buck name.
You're
the history teacher.
There you go.
Casey's the history teacher.
There it is. So I'm a 8-year-old 8-point with broomed off tips, and they're black and stuck velvet on them.
The reason why I said black beard is because we had this deer back in Illinois a long time ago on his G3, I think it was, on his left side. It looked like somebody took electrical tape and it was like a perfect black circle around his G3, and we called him Blackbeard. No idea why, but it was just black.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of funky names over the years.
Eugene Levy is probably still one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was a good one. Holyfield was a good one. He had a hole in his ear.
Yep.
We had one called Monster Thickburger way back in the day.
Jesse the Body. Longshanks. Longshanks is a good one.
Yeah.
Whiskey Barrel.
Meat Unit.
Meat Unit's always a good one.
Yep. We've had some. Well, of course, Megatron and Strong Arm and Majestic Lion and the Great Hambino and Lone Star and Lieutenant Dan, and we've had all kinds of wild and funky names.
Lieutenant Dan.
It's just some people like the name in the deer thing. Some people hate it. For me, it's always been so much easier than being like, the 4.5-old 8-point with a G2 with a kicker on his right side. I just give him a name.
Yeah,
makes it so much easier.
Well, now it's not we're running out of names. We just got to watch more movies because we're always movie guys. So we're just movie names, and
we try to go different theme every year, right? I was on a big Young Guns kick there for a while. We had Chavez and Arkansas Dave, Rudabaugh. We never did have a Billy the Kid.
Nope.
I don't know why we didn't.
That's a good
have
one.
Tunstall,
I had a King Joffrey in Michigan because I absolutely hated that character.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill this deer so bad, so I named him King Joffrey.
There you go. Let's put that out there to the world. If you guys are listening to this episode, head on over to our social channels. Go to Instagram or Facebook and give us a movie that we can start naming deer
theme
off
for this year.
We need a theme for this year. That's exactly right. It's got to be a good movie, though. It's got to be one that we've all seen.
Yep.
So
definitely. I think let's wrap it there.
Yeah, that'll do it here for this episode. We're just about to reach our final destination down here. Excited for what's coming up here with Winchester. We got a lot of new products we're going to be checking out. We'll be sure to bring those new products to everybody once we're actually allowed to do that and unveil some of this stuff. But super excited for what's coming here in the next couple of days. And aside from that, check us out at IamHumanimal.com is where you can go consume all of our stories. Get on there. We're gearing up for the shop feature, which is super exciting. Cody has been working really hard to get the hats and tees and hoodies and sweats and laptop sleeves and all kinds of just Humanimal gear that's actually really some badass stuff. So high quality gear. So we got that new feature we're turning on right away here on the web. It'll be live in the coming days, hopefully. So get over there to IamHumanimal.com. Check it out. You can find us on YouTube. What is it? Kiefer Brothers YouTube, Kiefer Brothers Humanimal YouTube.
If you type in Kiefer Brothers or Humanimal on YouTube, it'll come up.
There you go. And then you got, obviously, Instagram and Facebook and all that jazz stuff that I know nothing about. So that's it. Signing off for Feet and Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Or history teacher.
Sorry, the history teacher.
The history teacher. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for submitting questions. Appreciate that.
Yeah. These are fun. I like these. I mean, not that none of the other podcasts are fun, but man, I like the people just firing away.
Yep.
I love that kind of stuff.
And just so you guys know, we have been having some people reach out. Casey and I did the Rut Report last year for the first week of November.
Yep.
We're going to do that again this year. So what we did, if you guys didn't hear it, people really liked it, downloaded a lot. People have been asking me if we're going to do it. Yes, we're going to do it. But what we did is we would call 3 guys a night for 7 days in a row.
Yep.
And from different areas of the Midwest or wherever, different areas of the country, to see where the rut was at that time. And then we'd push that podcast out right away. We would record and then get it out. So if you guys want to be involved with that, hit us up. Say, hey, in the rut, I would really like to have an opportunity to come on the podcast. We talk for about 15, 20 minutes. We'll give you guys a call. So if you guys really want to do that, let us know.
Yeah, I think the object there is we want as real time as we can possibly get from all areas of the country,
yes.
from all different states, right? I mean, even different areas of different states. So, we're going to be bringing that back. It'll be the rut, so everybody's going to be in a good mood and happy and excited and fired up. But B, I'm going to reach out to the old Jim Abernathy and see if we can get Jim Abernathy back on, because he was a blast last year. If you guys haven't heard that, go back and listen to Jim Abernathy. He was a riot, man.
Yep.
So that's always a good one. But that's it for us right now. We are officially pulling into Winchester. So signing off, the history teacher and feet. Behave, people.
Red song is on my mama say it's some new day song.